I'm excited to introduce Narayan, and it will be sort of an interactive workshop. So please come forward, and if you ask questions, please engage with him. Looking forward to somebody can take. Yes, on Zoom also. If you have questions, please feel free to speak up. So with that, I give the floor to Vidya.
Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Parampara. We would look into our Dharma and how our Dharma is based on a certain vision, because that vision is what we have to communicate to our younger generation. But first we have to also internalize that vision ourselves as adults. Then only we can communicate it, we can teach it, and make sure that the younger generation also, they get benefited by our Dharma. Because our Dharma is called a way of life by many people actually. Way of life itself does not really make any sense, because anybody can say that it is my way of life. So way of life means it has to be based on a certain vision, correct? There has to be a vision and a way of life based on that vision. Now, we all have absorbed certain things, because being born in India and brought up, we have absorbed certain things by osmosis, I would say. Nobody taught us certain things when we were growing up, but still we were able to grasp certain things. But even that is not available for children who are growing up here, let us say, because most of the time children are spending in the school or away from the home, and whatever they pick up from there may not be also compatible with what you are expecting, or how we grew up, etc. So a way of life, if you want to, even assuming that we have a certain way of life, how do we make our children follow that way of life then? It becomes a very difficult task, or it's a challenge here. So for that, the important thing we have to understand is, our way of life does not mean that there are some simple do's and don'ts, or of course, every way of life has its own do's and don'ts. I'm not saying it is not there, but it is not just that. It's not just a set of do's and don'ts, or it is not just some beliefs which you have to believe and then continue with that. Not like that. It is much more than that. In fact, you all know that we celebrated a Guru Purnima on Wednesday, correct? On 13th July, we had Guru Purnima. So why this Guru Purnima is very important? Why do you even have somebody called a Guru? Because a Guru is a teacher, and in our tradition, the Guru is treated like a god, correct? Guru is placed in the same pedestal like even all our devatas. So why Guru is so important, and why do you even have a day like Guru Purnima? And we all celebrate that. We all do worship on that day. We all worship our Gurus. So from this, we should understand that ours is a teaching tradition. Okay, that is why we have a Guru. A Guru is required. A teaching tradition means first you have to understand certain things, and also the one who needs to learn also should put in some effort. It is like there is a teaching involved, means the one who wants to learn also has to have an interest to learn, and the one who is teaching also should know the subject matter to be taught. Both are important. So regular education means unless you enroll in a school, nobody is going to teach you, correct? So, but ours also is something like that. It's not like something we can go and preach like a set of beliefs or anything. It is much more than that. We have a certain vision which needs to be understood, and that vision is what makes our way of life meaningful. That is the connection we have to understand. So if anywhere understanding is involved, means there is an effort on the part of the teacher There has to be a certain effort on the part of the student or whoever is learning. So that is why we have a Guru Shishya Parampara, we call it. There is a lineage of Gurus and Shishyas. And even Guru Purnima is actually a celebration of Vyasa. Vyasa is our celebrated Guru in the lineage, because we say that we call him Veda Vyasa, in fact, correct? Veda Vyasa. Why do we call him Veda Vyasa? Because the Vedas were there as a single huge, it's like an ocean, correct? Single huge literature was there. And then it is said that for this Kali Yuga, people will not be able to grasp the entire thing or memorize the whole thing and protect it. So Veda Vyasa is the one who actually, he categorized the Vedas into 4 and then gave it to his 4 Sishyas. And through them again, this whole thing, the Vedic knowledge is coming down to us even today. So ours is also an oral tradition. All these things we have preserved orally till now. Even now, if you want to learn the Veda or you have to do something called Veda Adhyanam, you have to go and study it orally, because the chanting involves certain swara, or the way you have to chant, etc. You can only learn by sitting with somebody and hearing them chant, and then you repeat it and you learn it. So the oral tradition has preserved everything for us till now, and now it is our responsibility to further pass it down also. There is a certain responsibility on the people who know, so that all this knowledge, which is very invaluable, we are able to pass it down. So Guru Purnima also actually is a reminder of that, correct? We have to preserve this Guru Sishya Parampara. Okay, so I have been talking about this vision, Guru Sishya Parampara and all that. So what is this vision, which even I am trying to actually explain here, is that there is a certain Vedic vision, which is what is making our Dharma or our way of life meaningful. So we have to understand that first. And that vision is our vision of Ishvara, or our vision of God, you can say. The word God is an English word which even I don't even want to use it, because it comes with its own some connotation and all that. We have words like Bhagavan or Ishvara, like that. Okay, correct. So Bhagavan is a better word for us. So we have a certain vision of who this Bhagavan is. And that vision is what makes our way of life meaningful. So once we understand, even children can understand that, it's not very difficult, then only they will have a certain conviction, correct? Because our tradition being a teaching tradition, we can only teach people, okay? You give them the right knowledge, then it is their decision, then they have to still choose whether the teaching which you have given is valuable enough for them to follow it or not. That is still their decision. In fact, even Bhagavan Krishna, he taught Arjuna, 18 chapters are there, Bhagavad-Gita, correct? This Bhagavad-Gita is very big even in US now, because wherever I go, I see children are memorizing the Bhagavad-Gita. I'm very happy to see that. And in some places, like I went to Austin, I think some 50 children have memorized the entire Bhagavad-Gita, all the 18 chapters, which is like 700 verses are there. It's not very big, but still it's a big effort, I think. 700 verses, a lot of children have memorized that. And even I chanted with them one of the chapters. So in the Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavan finally what he says in the 18th chapter is, he says, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Finally he says that. He has taught Arjuna everything. But being Bhagavan, he can say, now you have to do whatever I have said, correct? It's not like a commandment. He didn't say that, I am Bhagavan, you have to do whatever I say. No, he didn't say that. What he said is, whatever you desire. Yathechasi means what? Yatha ichasi. According to your icha or your desire, now you do. Means he gave the choice to Arjuna back, saying that I have taught you. In the light of my teaching, you now decide whatever is right, you know now. Now it is up to you to do that or not. Now that is our tradition. Our tradition being a teaching tradition, we want to give the right knowledge to whoever it is, whether it is children or adults. Then it is up to you to follow dharma or not, correct? Once you have the knowledge, in fact, at least I think you have no other choice, correct? You have to go along with the knowledge, whatever knowledge you have. Based on that, you will have a certain conviction, and then you will be able to follow it better. So our idea has always been that we have to give the right knowledge to our children. So most of this knowledge came within the family itself before, okay? Because we didn't have a certain we are not a congregational religion really, correct? We were not like that. But it was all there in the family. Of course, those who went to Gurukulam also, Gurukulam concept was there until the time British came and destroyed it. So everybody also learned from their guru, but in the family also, a lot of traditions have come. But unfortunately, many of those things are now not applicable anymore. So that is why we have to, either as parents or as community, we have to take a certain effort to teach this. So in this, the most important thing we have to understand is what is the vision of Bhagavan which the Veda is giving us. Because the word Bhagavan also I will explain. But in general, Bhagavan is understood as a creator, correct? This concept of creator is there in all religions also. Everybody says there is at least most theologies claim that there is a creator, Karta. Now for that, the world has to be a creation then, correct? Now for that also some people try to give certain logic that why the world has to be a creation, you can ask. Children also can ask. They are all very intelligent. So why the world has to be a creation means, many people say, yes, world has a lot of intelligence. Everything in the world looks intelligent. In fact, everything is in order, correct? This order itself is a very important thing. If the order is not there, you cannot have any laws. The very fact that we are even scientifically able to study the world means there is an order, because you find a special law, law of gravitation or any other law, let us take. You assume that the law, however it works today, it is going to work tomorrow also in the same manner, correct? Or whatever is on Earth will work on moon or in a distant star also. In fact, this itself is a very basic assumption, correct? Physicists are assuming that the law which is working in one place and one time will work everywhere. But based on that only entire scientific study is there. Or the world as we know is there because the laws are all working in the same way every day and in all the places here, correct? What if it starts changing? You can imagine, correct? Today gravity is one value. Tomorrow it becomes, today it is 9.8, tomorrow it becomes 12, means we cannot be even on the earth, correct? You will be sucked into the crust of the earth, I think. The gravity becomes very high. Or if the gravity becomes very less, today it is 9.8, tomorrow if it becomes 6, what will happen? We will all be floating on in the space. You cannot be there here. So if all these things start changing, in fact, so many things are there like that. If we get into that, for the world to be as we are experiencing today, so many things have to be in order. Then only we can even study the world and then even live in the world in the manner in which we are living, and even any other technological breakthrough or development, everything assumes that certain things are always in order. Based on that order only, we are able to even invent new things. The potential for new things are also built into the same order. It's all part of the order, we will say. Now, this order itself is called dharma for us. Understand that the word dharma has a very wide meaning for us because it comes from the Sanskrit root dhr. Dhr means to support. Dharati. The word dharati means, it's a verb, means supporting. Now, dharma is that which supports. Means it supports this whole creation as we know it. How does it support? By maintaining the order, correct? If there is no order, then it will all be only chaos, correct? We cannot have the world as we know it. So the dharma itself is looked upon as a certain order. And the whole world is orderly. It follows different types of laws like physical laws, chemical laws, biological laws are there. Those are all the things you are studying in the school also, no? Correct? The entire science you are studying, or even any other subject matter you are studying, all that is pointing to a certain order only. The order alone we are studying. Now, how did this order come about? That is the question. Okay. So many people claim that since the order is there, it points to a certain intelligence and therefore it must have come from a certain intelligence. Because the order itself is intelligent. It is not something which is what we call in Sanskritam jadam. Jada means what? It doesn't have any awareness or not insentient. It is not sentient. It is insentient. So the entire order has come from a certain sentient and intelligent being. This is one argument which is given. Now, whether that itself is acceptable is a question mark still. Okay, there are many people who say, no, the world is like this only. It was always like this. You can say that also. If you say that, then the world is no more a creation, correct? If the world itself is not a creation, then you don't require any creator. So that point is a very important thing. Okay. In fact, there is a big discussion even in US about creationism and evolution and all that, correct? People are fighting over it. But even then, our view is that the world is a creation. That's what the Veda also is saying. Other theologies are also saying that I told you. That we accept the world as a creation means there has to be a creator. Once you accept this as a creation, we have to say there is a creator. For that, the supporting logic we can still give. It's not entirely logically we cannot establish, but we can still say that the world is intelligent enough. Everything is in a certain order. The seasons are there and all that. If you look at it, and each and everything, including our body, is all put together intelligently. And if anything is intelligently put together, it points out to a certain creator. This much all of us can understand. Why I am saying this, let us say, I say this phone is there, okay? So I say I went to Japan or somewhere, and this phone was coming out from a natural spring in Japan. If I say that, what will you think? Will you accept that? You cannot, correct? Even children will ask me, what do you say? If I say this phone came from a natural spring, can you accept this? Why not? So you are saying phone cannot come naturally, correct? It has to. Why do you even say it cannot come naturally? It is not very obvious, correct? Let us assume I am very dumb. I ask you why it cannot come naturally. What will you say? Why cannot there be a spring of phones? I say there is a spring of phone. In Himalayas it is there. I am coming from Himalayas. And in the Himalayas, phones are coming out from the earth like a spring, and then I plucked one. And this is that phone. So why should it not come like that? Correct.
It's not grown.
So basically the idea is phone itself is made up of parts, correct? Many parts are there. Now what if and children are very good, correct? You all dismantle everything, you give something to children, they are very good at removing each and every part. Now I dismantle this phone into different parts and put it all. Is it a phone? All parts are still there, correct? I put it on the floor, all the parts of the phone. Will you call it a phone? It is not a phone, correct? Why? Correct. So for it to become a phone and become functional, what should happen? All the parts have to come together according to a design, correct? That is the idea. It's not just a collection of parts alone. The parts have to come together. You have to put together. Intelligently, if you put together only, it is a phone. So that is what they call nowadays as intelligent design or whatever. There is a certain design and all that. So for a phone, we cannot even imagine that it can come naturally because it has too many parts and all of them have to be put together according to a certain design, and then only it becomes a functional phone, correct? Otherwise, even if I put I take this display, I take the motherboard, whatever is there within that, correct? I can take out each of that, and if I just put it in one heap, it is not phone. So intelligently put together, whatever has parts and whatever needs to be intelligently put together, instinctively you think that such a thing cannot come naturally, correct? That's a certain understanding all of us have. Now, that is okay for a phone. Nobody disputes that. If I say that the phone has to have a phone maker and whatever, a creator and all that, everybody accepts that. But can we extend this to the entire Srishti or entire world? That is the next question. Okay. Now, there at that level, nobody can give any convincing answer. That is the truth. Let me tell you, purely logically, we cannot claim that the whole world is a creation. But then still it is a supporting logic, we can say. It's not illogical, at least, correct? There's a difference between ability to establish something logically and proposing something which is not illogical. So if we still say that the world is a creation because we think everything in the creation is intelligently put together, and I am not the author of that, correct? Even if my own body, if I take, I am not the author of my body. Everything is intelligently put together in this body, correct? Everything is there in the right place. Even the temperature and all is at the right level for it to function. All the organs are functioning all the time. And even if the temperature 1 degree becomes more, we call it fever. And the system is not working correctly, it can go RI if it continues and all that. That means everything is well regulated. Things are all working properly for years. Even our heart is pumping for so many years, correct? If you calculate even how much pumping it does and how many gallons of blood it has pumped, no, it is amazing. Now, all these things, I cannot claim any conscious authorship of my own body. Neither my parents can claim, correct? They also cannot claim that, no, I am the author of my children. No parent can claim that. They can at best say that my children are born through me. That is fine. But even parents cannot say that I have designed you exactly like this and all that. Nobody can claim that. So since so much intelligence is there in the world and no one person can claim to have put all these things together, so we are also saying that there is an intelligence or super intelligence or whatever you can say, correct, which has to be there for accounting for all the experiences and all the things which we are seeing here. That is one logic we give. It's a supporting logic, I would say. So according to that, we can assume that yes, we have a creation. Okay. But this also many people don't accept. They have their own views. We are not bothered about that. But we can accept. I think it is still a reasonable thing to say that the world is a creation, because I see so much intelligence in the world and so many things have been put together here. So there has to be a creator. Now, what is the nature of this creator? This is where things can become a lot more confusing, because as I told you, all theologies accept a creator. There is a creation, means there has to be a creator. Now, what is the nature of this creator? This is where our Vedic vision also we have to understand. Now, within the creation, for example, this phone, assuming that there is a phone maker, the phone maker does not come along with the phone, correct? When you go and buy a phone, the phone maker is not there in the phone. Or you go and buy a pot, the potter does not come along with the pot, correct? Potter is separate, pot is separate. Now, what comes along with the pot? Only the material which makes up the pot, correct? Or what comes along with the phone? Whatever is the phone made up of, the material alone comes along with the effect. But there is also another cause. When we talk about cause, creation and the cause of the creation, along with the creation, what we say is the material cause alone comes along with the creation. So if you go and buy a pot is a creation. And along with the pot, if it is a clay pot or if it is a metal pot, if it is a clay pot, the clay comes along with the pot. If it is a metal pot, the metal comes along with the pot. But the pot maker is always separate. So pot maker also is a cause. The pot maker is called an intelligent cause, we say. And the clay or the metal is called the material cause. So when we talk about cause in general for any creation, there is a material cause, there is an intelligent cause. In fact, there can be even more than one cause. In general, largely we are categorizing it as a material cause and intelligent cause. Okay. There are some instruments also are required in between. Even the potter has to use a wheel and a stick and all that. So instrumental causes are also there. So many different causes can be there for a creation. Okay. But largely two things are very important. One is the material, another is the maker, we say, correct? Maker or the intelligent cause. So yeah.
The maker, we have like many ideas, Prajapati, Brahma, Brahman. So,
correct.
So what is the difference?
Yeah. So like our Prasad ji is saying, maker is what the theologies are also focusing on. And even when we talk about the maker or the creator, we say Brahma. Brahma is the creator. When we look upon the creator of this creation, we call that Brahma. Because we have Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara and all that. If we look at it like that, Brahma is the creator for us. Vishnu is the one who sustains, we say. He is the one who is actually keeping this order intact. Otherwise, nothing will be there, correct? Like I told you, if the order goes, everything is in chaos, or it can even go into some potential state, let us say. See, there is a pot. If you break the pot, what happens? Pot is gone. So, like that, the world can also go away. It can resolve back from wherever it came, it can go back also. Now we look at it in three ways. That's why there is a creator, there is a one who sustains, then one who takes it back into himself, where it can resolve back. Like even the pot, once it breaks, it again becomes the clay, we'll say, correct? Or it has gone back into the clay itself, we have to say. So like this, we can look at it as three different standpoints we can look at it. But whichever way you look at it, like I said already, there is an intelligent cause, there is a material cause. Now, most theologies only talk about the intelligent cause, or the karta, or the maker. And what they say is, there is a maker, who made this world, correct? This kind of a thing is there in every theology. And many times they even say God in heaven created the world. Okay, this is a very common kind of way of putting it. Now, there is a question comes, correct? Then if God is already in heaven, then who created the heaven, if you ask? Then it becomes a problem. Then what was there before heaven? You are all intelligent children. You will ask so many questions. And how did God create means? What is the material with which God created the world? There has to be some material. Where was this material before? All these questions you can ask. Then some people say, no, out of nothing this was created. No, that is not very logical, correct? Out of nothing you cannot get anything. Nothing is really nothing only. You cannot get something out of nothing. Something cannot come out of nothing. So there is a problem. If you keep on asking questions, they'll simply say you have to believe whatever I say, correct? You have to have faith. That's all they can say. Shut up, don't question. But ours is not a tradition where we say shut up, correct? You are allowed to question as much as you want. So what does the Veda say? If you say, okay, Veda also says there is a creator or a maker, then where did the maker get the material to create the world? Means the Veda says maker does not need to go anywhere for the material, because if the maker is really the cause of this entire world, maker cannot go anywhere, correct? There's no other thing, nobody else. If you want to make, let us say, bread, and you don't have the wheat flour, means you can go to your neighbor and buy, or whatever, borrow also, correct? You can buy or borrow or whatever. You can beg, borrow, all that you can do. But once we say the whole world, somebody is the creator, that creator has nowhere to go, nobody else to borrow, nothing. That is why the Veda's vision is that maker and the material are one and the same. This is the vision of the Veda. The Veda says both the maker and the material are one and the same. Now, what is the analogy it is giving for that? The Veda itself gives the analogy of the spider. So if you take the spider need not borrow the material from anywhere, correct? It is making a yarn, or it is making a web out of its own yarn, correct? But where did it go for the material means? Spider itself has the material. It is able to provide the material itself. It has the skill and whatever ability to create the whatever yarn it is creating. It is spinning a certain yarn, correct? And if required, if you go and touch it or try to touch it, may even roll it back and take it into itself. That yarn, it can still roll it and put it back into itself. Spider can do all these things. So like this, even the spider is both the maker and material with reference to the whatever yarn it is making. We say that Bhagavan is both the maker and the material for this creation. Whatever creation we are experiencing here, everything, Bhagavan is both the maker and the material. Now, this is the vision we have. Okay. Now, this vision is very clear. Then in this, what is the implication of this? We have to understand. How does this vision make our whole Dharma, our whole culture, our whole way of life meaningful? So according to us, Bhagavan created this whole world out of nothing else, we say, correct? Nothing else means Bhagavan does not require anything else. Bhagavan is both the maker and the material. And like I told you, if Bhagavan is the material cause, everywhere in the world, Bhagavan has to be there, correct? Like if you have a clay pot, everywhere in the pot, if you touch, what are you touching? What are you touching? If you touch a clay pot, anywhere you touch it, what are you touching there? You are touching the clay alone, correct? Everywhere the clay is there. In a clay pot, wherever you touch, it is only clay. Like that, all that is there here is nothing but Bhagavan, we say. Whatever is there here is Bhagavan, means it's a vision which you have to now understand. It is not even something you have to believe. We don't say that you have to believe in God. Okay? Like I was telling you, ours is a teaching tradition. There is a guru, and guru has to teach. And what does the guru teach? Guru is teaching this vision only, because this is a vision where we are saying all that is available here, whatever you are experiencing, whatever is there which is available to you as this world, this is all a manifestation of Bhagavan alone. It's not even a creation, because we say it is a, whatever is potentially there, it manifests. And then whatever is manifest can again go back into potential also. And again it can manifest. Like that, it is a cycle. For us, creation itself is a cycle. It is a cycle of manifestation, sustenance, and again it can resolve back and become unmanifest potential. Like even a tree is there in the seed, correct? You take the banyan tree, the seed is so small, really. It is one of the biggest trees you will see, but the tree, the seed is very, very small. In that only we say DNA and all that. So everything is coded in that. Potentially it is there. Given the right condition, it becomes the tree. And again from the tree you get one more seed, means that potential is still there, correct? Even if the tree dies, the potential continues in the other seed. It keeps on going like that. Like that, this whole world is potentially there. Then it is manifest. Again, it goes back into the potential state. This is our understanding. That means whatever manifests is what we call creation. If something becomes manifest from unmanifest, it is called creation. If something goes from manifest into unmanifest form, it is called whatever resolution or laya and all we say. Srishti and laya. Srishti, sthiti, laya is the word we use in Sanskrit. Srishti means something which comes into manifestation. Sthiti means it is sustaining. Manifestation is going on. And layam means it goes back into unmanifest or potential state. So this is one vision, one understanding. Like I said, since the maker and material are one, all that is here, including your own body also, understand that. Everything that is here is a manifestation of the same Bhagavan for us. All that is here is Bhagavan, including my body, mind, sense complex. That is the implication. Because Bhagavan is also the material. Bhagavan is not just a maker who is sitting somewhere else. Understand that. Bhagavan is not separate from the creation. Other theologies make the world separate from Bhagavan. Then they say that Bhagavan alone, something is sacred, this is not sacred and all that. They have a division. For us, there is no division like that, because everything is a manifestation of the same Bhagavan. So everything is sacred for us. Whatever is manifest here, including my own body, mind, sense complex, everything is sacred. All that is here is a manifestation of that only. So if somebody asks you, right? Many people say we have only one God. How many gods you have? Means what do we say? Our children should say we have only God. You have only one God, but we have only God, because whatever is manifest here is all Bhagavan only. Correct? You go to a jewelry shop, correct? It is a gold, they only sell gold jewelry, correct? And then you go and ask what is there here. What will you say? There is only gold there, correct? Because all the golden jewelry are nothing but gold only. Everything is gold, correct? Whether it is a bangle, whether it is a chain, whether it is a ring, whatever may be the different jewels or jewelry which you can buy. They are all different names with different forms. But all of them are only gold. In the golden world, everything is only gold. Like that, this world being a manifestation of Bhagavan, we say, even if somebody asks you, what should you say? You should say there is only God. We don't say there is one God. One God is actually a problem, because then one means what about 2, 3? What about the other things? It is a problem. So for us, there is only Bhagavan here, only God. And then how does this vision then make everything meaningful? How does it manifest in our way of life? That is the next thing we have to understand, correct, as children. Because you may ask, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? So many things your parents may be telling you to do, and you don't understand, why should I do like this? Yeah.
There is only God, then why is there good and evil?
Correct. So that is a question to be asked. So there is an answer for that. I will come to that. Okay. Because good and evil, let me answer that now only, because I don't want to postpone it too much. See, good and evil, before we go to good and evil, every human being, what is the nature of a human being? We have our own likes, our own dislikes, correct? That's what is making up every human being. Even children have their own likes and dislikes, what they want to eat, what they don't want to eat. Mother wants to give something to the child, child does not want to even eat that. So everybody, we are all having our own likes and dislikes, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's what makes us all unique also. Each of us have a certain personality based on our certain likes, certain dislikes. Now, but there is also something called right and wrong, correct? And how do we know there is right and wrong? That is because certain things we instinctively know as right, certain things we know as wrong. Now, what is the basis of that? It means we all know what others should do towards us, correct? Very clear. Others should be truthful to me. Others should always speak lovingly to me. They should not scold me. They should not hurt me in any way. They should always give me something, whatever. So you have, all of us have very clear expectations with reference to what others should do to you. Others should do towards oneself. There is no confusion in that. Then you also know the same thing. Others also want the same thing, correct? They are also human beings like that only. They also want the same thing. That means that itself becomes a basis for what we call, that is what we call common sense values, or common sense, or samanya dharma, we say in Sanskritam. So there is a samanya dharma is commonly sensed by all of us. That's why it is common sense. So that is there. Based on that, we know that we have to be truthful, because I expect other person to be truthful towards me, and other also is expecting the same thing. The others are expecting the same thing from me. So that becomes a basis for me to behave in a certain way towards others, correct? So we know in a certain situation what is right, what is wrong. We all sense that. Of course, there are common sense, common or universal values, we say, samanya dharma. Specific values are also there. In a particular situation also, what we should do. Because depending on the role you have taken up and where you are, place and time, etc., in a particular situation, what is right, what is wrong, we all know as human beings. Then you have another set, what you like, what you dislike. So there are 4 things are there, correct? Right, wrong, like and dislike. Now all the human problem, if you take, we can, within this only we can understand. The human problem is, most of the time whatever I like is not the right thing, correct? Then only there is conflict. Whatever you like is the right thing means there is no conflict, correct? You are also happy. Everybody around you also will be happy, mostly. Whatever you like is the right thing. But even if you do the right thing, there may be somebody who is jealous of that and all that, but we leave that away. But mostly, at least, if whatever you like is the right thing in a given situation, there is no conflict within you at least. You are very clear. And mostly others are also happy with that. Similarly, whatever is wrong is what you dislike. Then also there is no conflict or anything. Mostly it works out well. Then when does the problem come? Whatever you like is not the right thing. Then what do you do? That is where evil and all comes. What do you say, good and evil? Where does it come? If you are like, not the right thing, and still you want to go according to your likes only, in spite of knowing. See, nobody can claim ignorance. Understand that. Even children know what is right and wrong. Once they have come to a certain age, they also know the same thing, correct? They all expect certain things from others, and children also know others are expecting the same thing from me. They may not appreciate it very well, but as they grow up, they have enough knowledge. Once they become 8 years or whatever, I don't know, that child psychologists and all, they would have studied that. They all know that after a certain age, even children understand that very clearly. Till then, we give a certain leeway to children, that's fine. They can throw a tantrum, whatever, but we can still manage them. But after a certain age, everybody understands all these things. Ignorance is not a defense. Or you can say, no, I was confused. But as a human being, if you are confused, you have a responsibility to know still. You have to seek clarity then. If you are confused, go and ask somebody. Ask your elders, ask your parents, ask your teachers, ask your gurus. Whoever will give you a proper advice. You have to seek help from them and get clarification, even if you are confused. But assuming there is no confusion, whatever you do, you are doing it knowing what is right, what is wrong. In spite of that, if you do something wrong, that only becomes what we say as evil. Because in evil, only you are there, correct? Because of your own likes and dislikes only, you are doing something. But whatever is right and wrong is as per the order which is there. That is the Bhagavan's order. What we say is, whenever you do the right thing in a given situation, you are in harmony with Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan only is manifest as this entire creation. If that is the case, all the orders which are there here also is Bhagavan only. It is all Bhagavan. Each and every order, each and every law which is manifest here, it is all Bhagavan's own manifestation. Bhagavan only is manifest as all the physical laws for us. Bhagavan only is manifest as all the chemical laws, all the biological laws, all the psychological laws, and also the moral order. What we call as moral order is the right and wrong, which we know. That order also is Bhagavan's manifestation. So whenever you are in keeping with the order in the creation, you are in harmony with Bhagavan. Then that is good. But whenever you are going only as per your own likes and dislikes, then there is no order, correct? You are now not in harmony with Bhagavan, we say. You are only your ego or you as an individual is there. That is the problem always. Then it becomes a problem not only for you. It becomes a problem for others, because whenever you say, I go only according to my likes and dislikes, you will be stepping on somebody else's toes, correct? That's not correct. But still, if you are so self-centered and all that, or for you only your likes and dislikes are more important, means you can then do something wrong. Then that becomes evil for the other person, correct? You may not consider like that, but then there is a problem. So what we understand is, whenever you go only according to your likes and dislikes, that is the problem. Then you are away from Bhagavan, in fact. That's our understanding. That's why we say, see, we have to understand this. Why should we do the right thing? This is a big problem, correct? Because many times in US also, children are taught to make choices, which is not a bad thing. See, when we were growing up, my mom gave me something, means I ate it. That's all, correct? We had only one choice, in fact. Even coffee means my mother will give me coffee or whatever. I didn't even have coffee when I was growing up. She gave me some kind of a drink, let us say. That's it. There is no choice in that. Whatever is given to you, you take. But here it's not like that. Children are encouraged to choose, correct? Even, let us say, morning. Okay, do you want bread? You want cereal? You want something else? Within cereal only there are 10 different things are there. Or coffee means whether you want half and half or milk, or so nowadays you have some coconut milk and almond milk. I don't know what else is there. And what kind of coffee you want, whether you want to put sugar, brown sugar, this sugar. Now you have to choose all that. My head is spinning already. But children are encouraged to make all these choices, which is fine. They are choosing all these things. That means they are encouraged to go along with their likes in one way. But as long as those likes are personal choices like this, it is not a problem to anybody else, correct? Same thing comes to other life choices. If you always think whatever I like alone has to happen, then that becomes a problem, correct? That is a problem. But even success and failure, how do we understand? That is a very important thing we have to understand in our culture. How do we understand success? What is success in life? Whatever I like, it should happen. Correct? That is success. If all my desires are fulfilled, then I am successful. That kind of a thinking is there, correct? It is there. I want to go to this college only. Okay, as long as you are ready to work for that and all that, but still there is no guarantee, correct? Whether we will really get in. You go to some good colleges there, they say only some 3% of the applications are accepted. So you work very hard. You want to be within the top 3%, fine. But still, there are other factors. It may not be only one factor, correct? It may not be even based only on your marks or some entrance exam and all that. What are you going to do? Then you will think you are a failure, correct? Because whatever you desired, you are not able to. In fact, nobody in the world, even the richest person, most powerful person, cannot claim that whatever they desired only is happening, correct? Nobody in the world can claim that. So by setting up success as whatever I desire should happen, you are actually setting yourself up for failure, correct? Everybody is a failure if you take that yardstick. Because nobody can claim that. If you look back at your own life, what do you see? So many desires, none of them may have got fulfilled. Many things you didn't even desire, but you got, and maybe you are even more happy with that. Certain things we got without even desiring for it. Certain things we desperately desired, we did not get it. Certain things we desired and we got it. But after getting it, you think, why did I even desire for this? That also has happened with people, correct? So all that is pointing out to a certain thing. What is that? Our knowledge also is limited. Our knowledge is limited. Our capabilities are limited. Limited knowledge, today we desire for something. But really we don't know whether once you get that, whether you like it or not, also we don't know. That is the truth. Then why are we even thinking that whatever we desire, only by achieving that I am a success, or I want to do that by hook or crook, or anyway I want to achieve it? This kind of an attitude is a problem. So what does our Dharma teach us? It says that you have likes and dislikes. That is not a problem. In fact, we call it Ichha Shakti. Called a Ichha Shakti. Why? It is desiring itself is a Shakti for us. It is a goddess. We look upon Ichha Shakti as a goddess, in fact. Everything is a goddess for us. Because everything is a manifestation of Bhagavan, means even your desires also are a manifestation of Bhagavan only for us. In fact, Bhagavan says that explicitly in the Gita. He says, Dharma aviruddha kamosmi bharatarshabha. He says that I am the kama in you. I am there in you as the desire. But he puts a qualification or an adjective. What? Dharma aviruddha, he says. Whatever desire in you, not opposed to dharma, is myself. I am only manifesting even as your desire, he says. Why is he saying that? Because human being has a certain power to desire, correct? Can a cow desire for this phone? Cow has no capability to desire for iPhone or whatever. This is not an iPhone, but I am telling you. Or cow cannot desire that I want to have a Thai cuisine only today. I want to go to a Thai restaurant. Will a cow tell that? Cow has no capability to desire for Thai cuisine or Chinese cuisine or whatever it is. So that means what we understand, the ability to desire is there in me, and it is a privilege or it is a power I have. Because as a human being, I can desire for so many things. And not only I can desire, I have the ability to know how to, because how to achieve the desire, you should have knowledge. That is called Jnana Shakti. That also is a Shakti for us. Jnana Shakti also is there. I have the ability to know so many things. Then I can do something also. Once knowing what to do, I have the capability to. It's called Kriya Shakti. So there are three Shaktis which are manifest in us. That's all Bhagavan Shakti only, but it is manifest in us. There is a Icha Shakti, there is a Kriya Shakti, Jnana Shakti, all these Shakti we have. It is a privilege. But whether we are using it properly or not, any privilege, any Shakti for that matter, correct? Any power can be used or misused. So now it is with us, we have to only see whether we are using it properly or not. We have to use whatever powers which have been given to us, although it may be limited, but still we have all these privileges and we have to use it. That means we have to understand the limits of our power. We have certain powers, but how much we have, what we can do with that, all those things we have to understand. And when we look at it, even though we have the ability to desire, but still our desire has to be in tune with. Otherwise, it is not only a problem for you. You will be stepping on somebody else's toe, means the other person will react, correct? It's not that they are going to keep quiet. So basically, there will be some disturbance, there will be problems. So our understanding of success, let us come back to that. So all these Shakti we have. Still, what is the success? What do we understand as success? Even in Sanskritam, we call it Siddhi. Siddhi means Siddhi, Buddhi and all we say, correct? Even Ganesha is supposed to have Siddhi and Buddhi in our tradition if you take. Buddhi means what? You have intelligence. You have intelligence, you have success. Both are there with Bhagavan. Or both can be there with us also. But what is the Siddhi or success? As we understand it, means the ability to do the right thing is Siddhi. That is what is called as success. Means in spite of your likes and dislikes, if you are able to do the right thing, then that is called success. Success is not that I want to fulfill whatever I desire, whatever I like must happen, means you can never be or nobody can be a success. In fact, everybody is a failure only. Everybody is, you are setting yourself up for failure. But if your definition is that in a given situation, I will do the right thing. In spite of what I like or dislike, I will do whatever is supposed to be done. Then, if you are able to do that, our tradition we say that you have Siddhi, you have gained Siddhi. You are a successful person because success is measured as your ability to manage your desires. Not in fulfilling your desires, but your ability to manage your desires, or whether you are the master of your desires or you are under the spell of your desires. If you are under the spell of your desires, you are a failed person only. You may be anybody. But if you are not able to distinguish what is right and wrong, and you just go by your desires, no, that is what is coming out in all the stories, correct? You take Ravana was such an accomplished person in many ways, correct? He is supposed to be, he was a Vaidika, in fact. He knew Samaveda and all they say. He used to chant it so well. He can play Veena. He was accomplished in many ways. But still he thought that whatever he wanted only he wanted to do. In spite of, he didn't care whether it is right or wrong. Then what happened to him? He got destroyed, correct? All our stories, our Puranas, our Itihasa, everything you see, you will see that there are many accomplished people, but then if they do not do the right thing, then still they ended up not as really a successful person or anything. So success for us or Siddhi is your ability to manage your own likes and dislikes. You have to be the master of your likes and dislikes. Raga Dvesha, it is called in Sanskrit, correct? Raga means like, Dvesha means dislike. Now the Raga Dvesha, you are not under the spell of your Raga Dvesha. They are not impelling you, or they are not pressuring you into doing something wrong. You are able to do whatever is to be done in spite of your likes and dislikes. That means you are free enough to do the right thing. That's what I say, correct? If you are free enough to do the right thing, then you are a successful person, correct? You have a certain freedom, leisure to do whatever is to be done. Whatever is the right thing in a given situation. Of course, there can be some confusion in that. Then you have to get clarified, like I told you, correct? You have to get clarified what is the right thing. But another human problem is what? Since we are all limited, sometimes we have many right things also, correct? Really speaking, for a mature person, for a dharmika, between the right and wrong, there is no choice, correct? You have to always go with the right one. There is no real choice between right and wrong. Only an adharmi has a problem there. But if you are a dharmika person, you are somebody who values the values, correct? You have a value for values. You want to lead a life of based on values. For you, there is no choice between right and wrong. This right only you will go with, or you have to go with. But what if many right things are there? Many choices are there, and all of them seems to be right. Then what do I do? Because as a human being, all my life is nothing but choice, correct? It's all choice. And many times we don't have enough knowledge about all the choices and their consequences. We cannot have also. Not that even if we make some effort, sometimes we cannot really know all the consequences of all the choices we are making. So what do we do at that time? Means only prayer we can do. That's why, in fact, our daily prayers, if you see, this Gayatri Mantra is there. You take Gayatri Mantra for any Devata. Okay? All of them will end with Prachodayat. That is the main verb. In all the Gayatri Mantra, the Devata will be described initially, and finally what it will say, the regular Gayatri Mantra says Diyo Yonah Prachodayat. Dhiyaha, Naha Dhiyaha. Also it is all in plural. All our prayers, you will see, mostly are in plural. It is not, Naha there is like, it's a plural, correct? Us, it is not me. The prayer is not even addressed to me, it is addressed as us. And what is that us? We are praying that you guide me. You impel my intellect, my buddhi, my mind. May you guide me, or may you impel me. For what? To make the right decision, correct? To make the right choice. So we have to leave it to Bhagavan at one level. If there are many right choices are there, amongst that, what do we choose? Means whatever I choose, let it be as per whatever, that is all Bhagavad Anugraham we have to understand, or that is the prayer at least. Make me choose the right thing. That is part of our prayer. That is the kind of life we want to lead on a day-to-day basis. So that there you have to be only prayerful. So here, the important thing for us is this vision that all that is here is a manifestation of Bhagavan. Means how do we understand it? How do we bring it in our day-to-day life? Correct? How do we bring it in our worship? How do we bring it in our religious forms, cultural forms, social forms? Everywhere this vision is permeated. That is what we have to appreciate. That's what we have to understand. So let us take a simple thing like Namaste. Correct? We say Namaste. But Namaste became very popular during the pandemic. Correct? Even world leaders and all, I think they gathered for some G20 or something, and then everybody was doing because they did not want to shake hands. Why? Namaste, at least my germs I keep with myself. Correct? I am not passing it on to anybody else. It is good. One way it is very good. Correct? Namaste. I keep my germs with me. You keep your germs with yourself. But more than that, Namaste can be a social form. Correct? It's a greeting. It is like shaking hands also. Namaste. But then it has much more meaning because the Namaha Te. Correct? Namaha. Namaha means I am doing Namaskara to you really. I am saluting you, or I am doing Namaskaram to you. Why should I do Namaskaram to another person? He may be younger than me. All that is there, correct? Why should I say Namaste to everybody? Means that is pointing out to certain reality. That since Bhagavan is manifest everywhere, means Bhagavan is manifest in the other person also, correct? So when we say Namaste, it is not just to that person then. It is to the Bhagavan also who is manifest, because Bhagavan alone is shining through all our minds also, all our intellects, all our buddhi, all our bodies. In fact, the very sentiency is Bhagavan. Not only that, when we say Namaste, it is also pointing out to another truth. What is that truth? If this hand is there, both are separate. But when we bring it as one, what are we signifying? It is still one body only, correct? It is one person's hand. This hand may be separate, this hand may be separate, but it still belongs to one being, one person. Like that, all of us may be separate, but we are all manifestation of the same reality, correct? We have to appreciate that. So all this meaning is there in a simple form like Namaste, understand it. So our forms are all very rich with meaning, not just social meaning. There is a social meaning will be there, religious meaning will be there. There can be even something, a bigger vision behind that also we have to understand. In every form like this, we have to understand all these things. Let us take some other forms also, because I want you to understand. See, we have all these vigrahas here, correct? So one question is, why are we having so many forms? Because there is a problem also here, correct? People say you are idol worshippers. People are condemning you, correct? And children may be facing it in the school, and also I don't know. They may be facing, because the others don't understand what we are doing really. They call you, you are an idolater and all that. And people will also say, what will this thing do? Why are you worshipping this? Is it God? Means what will we say? Why are we even worshipping all these vigrahas, murtis, whatever? We have a certain word for that. We don't even have to call it idol. Yeah.
So in the same line services, God is everywhere.
Correct.
So you can address that also.
Correct. So
Jaydeep also has a question.
yeah.
Loudly, Jaydeep.
So you are saying how there is invention, correct? How new things are coming. See, that's what, when we understand Bhagavan or God in our understanding, who is this Bhagavan? I already said Bhagavan is both maker and material, correct? Now, any maker means knowledge has to be there. Can you make something without knowing it? If you want to make something, you have to know about it, correct? Already. So, if a pot is made by a pot maker, means he has the knowledge of pot and how to make it, etc. Now, if you consider the entire Jagat or the world, if we say there is a creator, then that person should know everything. The one who has created all should be all-knowing, we say. Sarvajnaha, that is called, or all-knowing, omniscient and all we say in English. So Bhagavan is omniscient. In that all-knowing, everything which you know, which you don't know, which is there potentially, correct, which is all that is included in that knowledge. Understand that. All knowing. In fact, the word Bhagavan also I wanted to explain. In this context, I will explain, because many of us Indians, we use the word Bhagavan. In all languages, it is there. Even in Tamil, it is there. Some people claim that Tamil has no Sanskrit and all that. This is all wrong. Okay, if you take the first Tirukural in Tamil, it is Agara Mudala Ezhuthellam Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulage, it says. Bhagavan is there, right there. So it's not that it's not there in any Indian language. All Indian languages have this word. And what does it mean? Also we have to understand. Now Balawan, also there is a word like Bhagavan. What do you mean by Balawan? Means one who has Balam is Balawan, correct? One who has strength, power is called Balawan. Who is a Dhanavan? One who has Dhanam is called Dhanavan, correct? One who is wealthy, one who has wealth. Dhanam is wealth or money or whatever. Similarly, Bhagavan means one who has Bhaga is called Bhagavan. Okay. It is a similar kind of word. It is like Dhanavan or Balavan. Bhagavan is there. Then Bhagavan means one who has Bhaga is Bhagavan. No, what is Bhaga then? That is the question. So what is this Bhaga? It is said in the Vishnu Purana, there is a verse. What is it? Bhaga also in general means auspiciousness and all that. Okay? Or a wealth also it can mean. Wealth. In general, Bhaga can mean wealth. That's why we say Bhagyam. The word Bhagyam is there in many languages in India. It is my Bhagyam and all we say, correct? Means what? Bhagyam means some kind of good fortune or whatever. Some kind of a wealth also there is a meaning. But more specifically, the Vishnu Purana says Bhaga in the context of Bhagavan. When you say Bhagavan, one who has Bhaga, correct? What is this Bhaga means? It says 6 qualities make Bhaga. 6 different qualities put together is called Bhaga. And what are those qualities? Means all knowledge is one. Okay. The verse is Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashasha Shriyaha Jnana Vairagyayos Chaiva Shannam Bhaga Itirana. Like that, there is a verse is there in the Vishnu Purana. This Adi Shankara also quotes this in the Bhagavad-Gita Bhashya. So in that it is that Samagra means all, complete, total. So Samagra Aishwarya is one quality it says. Now Aishwarya means overlordship, we say. Overlordship means the one who has created all the laws, but one who is not subjected to any law. You understand the meaning? Or one who is the boss, who has no other boss. Okay, all of us also have some Aishwarya, correct? We have some overlordship, or we can boss around some people, but not everybody. So that Aishwarya we also have in some respect, but not all. But Bhagavan is the one who has Sarva Aishwarya, we say. Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Virya, all power. We also have some power, but Bhagavan has the entire all power, Sarva Shaktiman. So then Yashas also we say. Fame. Again, all of us are popular, at least within our family, correct? And friends, they all know us. and maybe you are popular. Nowadays in social media also you have some 1,000 friends and all that. You are popular, or so many followers on Instagram and all that. But then Bhagavan is all the fame, all the yashas. Wherever there is a glory, it is my glory. In fact, Bhagavan says that in the Gita there is one whole chapter. The 10th chapter in the Gita is called Vibhuti Yoga. Now, Vibhuti means actually glory. Or wherever something glorious or wonderful, something is there, that is a Vibhuti, we say. Bhuti or Vibhuti. Something which is shining, which is illuminous, which is bright. All that, it's called Vibhuti. Bhagavan says, wherever something like that brilliant is there, it's all, I am only manifest as that. Like that, he gives a whole list, in fact. You can go and read that. It's an interesting list. So, yashas also, all, by understanding all fame is Bhagavan's fame. In fact, you also have some humility, correct? Otherwise, you think too much. One can think too much about oneself also. There is a possibility. But all of us, we have to understand that we are all, everything is given to us, correct? When you are born, the air has the right amount of oxygen. Water is available, food is available. Every year it is raining. If none of this happens, we cannot live, correct? Everything is given to us. We all should appreciate that fact. We are, even whatever knowledge we have, it's all given to us. Our teachers have taught us right from ABCD onwards. Nobody can claim that I have invented something new. Everything is coming from, already people have done so many things. Maybe you have improved on that and all that. That is fine. You are already standing on the shoulders of others only always. So all fame also is Bhagavan's fame. The one who has all fame. Sarva Yashas. Then all Shri, all resources. We also have some resource, but our resources are limited, constrained. Bhagavan has no constraints. All resources, all Shri. Then all knowledge also, jnana, I told you already. Bhagavan is the creator of everything. Bhagavan should know everything then. Then finally, one interesting characteristic is given there. What is that? Vairagya. Now, what is this Vairagya? Already I talked about Raga and Dvesha and like that, correct? Likes, dislikes. Now, one who is without likes and dislikes is Bhagavan. That is one quality of Bhagavan, we say. And I like to say that even in Tirukkural Tamil, Thiruvalluvar says, Vendudal Vendamai Ilan. Like that one word he uses for Bhagavan there also. Vendudal Vendamai Ilan means one who does not have any likes or dislikes. I'll come to you. I'll complete this. So, that is also one quality. Why it should be like that means Bhagavan being Bhagavan cannot say that only if I have this thing I will be happy, correct? Then that person cannot be Bhagavan really. Or if I don't have this only I will be happy. There is nothing like that for Bhagavan. Bhagavan actually transcends all kinds of likes, dislikes, wants, etc. That is why Bhagavan is Bhagavan for us. So that's why this Vairagya also is very important. For us, for a normal person, everybody says, only if I have this, I can be happy. Or I should not have this, then only I cannot have even one spider in the house. If one spider is there somewhere, it may not really come even near you. But then in your mind, the spider has gone in now. Correct? Then some people cannot be there. They have some phobia, fear and all that. So Bhagavan has no problem like that. Whatever is there, Bhagavan also is happy. So like this, these 6 qualities make up Bhagavan. And to address your original question, you said, what about invention? How can invention be there? Means that invention is not beyond Bhagavan's knowledge. Understand that. All invention also is potentially there. That only has been invented. It is there potentially. Only something which is potentially there can be invented or discovered. In fact, all inventions are also really discoveries only for us, because all of them are there potentially in some way. From there only that invention is coming. So that invention does not mean that Bhagavan will not know that. It's all part of Bhagavan's order only now. Even that invention is a possibility in the creation. Is that clear? It's not beyond Bhagavan. Anyway, you wanted to ask one more thing, yeah? So that's a good question. So how is he created? That is why we say Bhagavan is the only uncast reality. Okay, you cannot ask for a creator of Bhagavan, then it becomes an infinite regress, correct? Then you will ask who is the creator of that creator? Who is the creator of that creator? Like that you can keep on going, correct? That is called infinite regress. So that's why we say Bhagavan is the uncast cause. In Tamil we say Mulu Mudar Kadavul. Like that there is a term is there. In Sanskritam also we say that Bhagavan is the Karanam, Sarva Karanam, but there is no Karana for Bhagavan. Bhagavan is understood as uncast caste. That's why. Okay. Anything else? Any question you have?
Yes, sir. The worship.
Yeah. Okay. We were talking about this idol worship. From there we went a little bit. Okay. So let us talk about this also, because I think even children here will face questions like that all over, or parents are facing the question from children. So how do we answer that? For this, again, we have to go to the original vision. What is our vision? All that is here is a manifestation of Bhagavan, correct? So now, as a Hindu kid, or even you go to India and even ask a very, let us say, an illiterate person is there in some forest in India. Okay, I have been to all those areas where all these forest dwellers are there. They do not have any formal education and all that, correct? Now you go and ask that person, where is Bhagavan? In India, you ask anybody, or even our kids. If I ask you, where is God? What will you say? What is your understanding? All around us. See, that is the beauty of our answer, correct? Our children, at least they have picked up that much. They are saying Bhagavan is all around. That is there in the story also, correct? Even Indian kids here, you would have seen Prahlada, or maybe you have read about Prahlada's story, or maybe you see in some TVs also it is coming now. So what did Hiranyakashipu ask Prahlada? What is the question he asked? He asked, where is your Narayana? Correct? Because Hiranyakashipu says to Prahlada, I am Ishvara, I am the God, you have to worship me only. But what Prahlada says, no, I will only worship Narayana or Vishnu. Then he says, where is your Narayana? So what did Prahlada say? He says, Vishnu is there in this pillar. He is also there in a speck of dust. Everywhere he is there, correct? All around, everywhere. So that vision is already there, correct? That vision is true only because for us, Bhagavan also is the material. Bhagavan is not just a maker sitting in heaven. You understand that Bhagavan is very intimate. In fact, Bhagavan is not separate from my body also. And how do we again internalize all these things? I will come to that. But before that, that is why any form then is Bhagavan's form only, correct? It's not away from Bhagavan. For example, you pervade all over your body, correct? You are there all over your body, at least everybody can claim that much. We are not all pervasive, but we say Bhagavan is all pervasive. But I am all pervasive in my body. Now to invoke you in your body, what should I do? Tell me. If I touch your head, will you pay attention to me? Yes. Or you touch the little finger, then also it is me only. I don't have to give you a full body massage to get your attention, correct? I can touch you anywhere in your body and gain your attention, for example. That is true because I pervade all over my body. Now, if Bhagavan is pervading everywhere, then any form can be considered as Bhagavan's form for us. Any form, all forms are Bhagavan's forms, in fact. Then only Bhagavan is truly all pervading, correct? Otherwise, Bhagavan cannot be all pervading. If you leave out some form as saying that it is not Bhagavan, then that is a problem. Bhagavan is no more all pervading or limitless. Bhagavan also will become one more limited being. You understand what I am saying? If you exclude something as not Bhagavan, then it is a problem. Then you don't know, in fact. So in our understanding, any form can be considered as Bhagavan's form. That is why when we do puja, what we are doing, we have to understand that very clearly. Understand that. The puja is nothing but like how you will treat a guest. That is what is puja really. Puja is only Atithi Satkara for us, really speaking. All the steps in the puja. What do you do in puja? You take any form. Okay. And then you do avahanam, we say. Avahanam means what in Sanskritam? Ahvaya means invite, call. So avahanam means we invite, although Bhagavan is there everywhere, for worship purpose, we are inviting that same Bhagavan and saying, now you be in this particular, all forms are your forms, but now I am considering this as a special form. Okay, this is where I want you to be now, because I want to do worship to you. Since all forms are your forms, I'll take one form and then consider that now you are there. Please come, be here. Then that is called avahanam. And before avahanam, in fact, we even do dhyanam. Dhyanam means we visualize a particular form. There is a dhyana shloka will be there. So if Ganapati is there, means you say, at least you say Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Sashi Varnam Chatur Bhujam means what? Shukla Ambaradaram means one who is wearing white cloth. Shukla Ambara Dhara. Shashi Varna means one who is bright like moon. Why is Bhagavan bright like moon? Because it is pleasing, correct? Sunlight you cannot see directly. Sun also is bright. But can you look into the sun? You cannot. It's a problem. But moon is not like that. Moon you can look at the moon, you can enjoy. It's pleasing. So Bhagavan also you are visualizing as a very pleasing Sashi Varna. Also has 4 hands. Okay, Chatur Bhujam. You cannot ask, how can you say Bhagavan has 4 hands? Means that is why Bhagavan. Humans have only 2 hands, but Bhagavan can have 4 hands, no problem. Prasanna Vadanam. Also always having a pleased face. Bhagavan cannot be also like this, correct? Sad Bhagavan. We don't want a sad. Why should Bhagavan be sad? In fact, we have said Bhagavan is always happy. He is Prasanna Vadana. Dhyayet. I now visualize the Bhagavan like that. And then I am calling, okay, you come now. And I can call that Bhagavan even on a turmeric lump, correct? That is the freedom we have. I can invoke Ganapati with this Dhyana Shloka on a lump of turmeric or on a Vigraham. Ganapati Vigraha also is there here, correct? And why should Ganapati have elephant head? Why is he having such a big tummy? Means, see, all our Bhagavan Vigrahas also point to this Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karana. That means Bhagavan is both the maker and the material. That will be pointed out in one way or the other in every Vigraha we have, or even most of the Dhyana Shlokam also is like this. If you take Ganapati, Ganapati's big tummy only we say is the like Brahmanda we call it, correct? The tummy is the one, means it is the potential for the entire creation. That's why he has such a big tummy. He keeps on eating everything also means everything resolves into Bhagavan only. And that big tummy means he is the Sarva Karanam. He is the cause for everything. And elephant head also we have some significance and all is there. We can find out. In fact, any Devata, that iconography is there, correct? How we actually have. In fact, for even Ganapati, there are 32 different forms are there. Okay, all diversity is there. And each form has some significance and all that. But in general, all our Devatas are considered as both the maker and the material that will come out in that form itself in one way or the other. So Ganapati means the tummy itself says that he is the cause of everything, that big tummy. And then the trunk has a certain meaning. Okay, like this, or Om also, Ganapati's form is like Om we say. Again, Om is considered as a sound symbol for Bhagavan. I will explain that also. But you take any form which is pleasing to you and you can worship Bhagavan in that. That is the freedom only we have that freedom. Why? Because for us, all forms are Bhagavan's form. Is that clear? So you can invoke Bhagavan with dhyana, by visualizing in a particular form, then inviting that Bhagavan into that form, and then do what we do. What do you do in puja? You first give water, correct? In fact, to wash the feet, padyam samarpayami, arghyam samarpayami, achamaniyam. Achamaniyam means water to drink. So anybody comes to your home, we offer something to drink, correct? And then what? Snapayami. You take bath. Now human beings, we can take only bath with water, but Bhagavan has no problem. You can give milk, curd, all those things. You make Bhagavan take bath. Then vastram, you give clothes. Then abharanam, all kinds of decoration you do. Like this, you can count. There are 16 steps are there. Each one has some meaning like this. And then you praise. Ashtotram. Then after praising somebody, what do you want? Then only prayer. Finally, you have some prayer, correct? You want something. So whatever you want, you can ask Bhagavan. There is no problem. Because Bhagavan is the source of everything. Where will you go and ask? You have to only ask Bhagavan. There is nothing wrong in that. In fact, intelligent living is seeking help. You should know when to seek help and you should ask for help. If no human being can help you, Bhagavan can still help you. So that is why prayer is very important. Every day you should have prayers. You can seek help from Bhagavan. And always, as I told you, even obviously if you don't have any problem also, still you have to make choices every day. We don't know which is the right choice, or even amongst right choice, which is the better one and all that. So still we have to only let Bhagavan do that, correct? And for that we have a certain attitude, we have certain prayers. So we have the freedom to worship Bhagavan in any form. In fact, Bhagavan is everything, is coming out. Even if you take Vishnu Sahasranama, the Dhyana Slokam and all that, the Bhoof Padav, Vidya, Anila Sura, like that, if you see that any Dhyana Slokam and all you see, Bhagavan will be presented as everything. So in this case, Bhoof Padav means this whole earth is his feet, we say, correct? And then his head is Swarga and all that, heavens. And in between, whatever is there is all his body. Like this, the visualization is always like Bhagavan is everything. And if you take Shiva's Thalam, I don't know how many of you have been to India, but we have the Pancha Bhuta Sthala. So we have even our creation model. When we talk about creation, we have a 5 elemental model. 5 elements we say in general. Of course, chemistry has many more elements. We have all this periodic table and all that. But if you look at it in a simple manner, we can divide this whole physical creation into space and then wind are all gaseous things. And then all energy is fire. Then all liquids, waters are there. Then all solids are all earth for us. So we have a 5 elemental model where we talk about Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, we say. Prithvi is earth. Apaha means all liquids or waters. Agni is fire. And Vayu is all wind or gas. And then Akasha is space. Now this 5 elemental model is there. Space also is created for us. Understand this. Many people think that only recently scientists, only 100 years back, scientists understood that space-time is created and all that. But for us, always we have said that space-time is something created. It's not absolute. This is there in our wisdom, in our tradition. So the entire creation is only within these 5 elements for us. Even our own body is made up of these 5 things, correct? Space is there. Without space, you cannot even eat, correct? You have to have space in your stomach. Otherwise, how are you going to eat? And then gas, of course, is there. That also has to be there. You have to breathe in air. Then only you can even metabolize. Oxygen is required. Breathe in, breathe out. Gas is there. Then fire. Without temperature, you cannot do anything. Or even Bhagavan says, digestive fire also is there. He says. In fact, in the Gita, Bhagavan says, I am there as the digestive fire in your stomach. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. Like that he says. I am there in all the beings, in the bodies of all the beings, as what? As the digestive fire called Vaishwanara. Why this is important? Because in reality, you don't even have the digestive power, correct? Most of the America is having digestion problem, I think. Why? Because even that is not really yours. You cannot consciously digest even things. It is a Bhagavan's power really, which is even that you are able to digest something and be healthy is a big blessing. Even that we do not realize, in fact. But we say that only Bhagavan is sitting in your stomach as the ability to digest. Because if you are not able to digest food, you cannot live, correct? Even that also is Bhagavan. That is why for us, even whatever you eat is an offering to Bhagavan, in fact. It's not that you can eat anything. That is why whatever we eat also, we have to be very careful, because even our bhavana or our understanding is that even each and every meal we eat, it is an offering to the Bhagavan, who is the one who is sitting as the digestive power, correct? That power also we cannot claim as mine or anything. It's not something I have developed or anything. It is there. The power to digest is a given, correct? I did not create it, or in fact, I can make it worse by eating all sorts of things. So, even that is Bhagavan. That's why we call eating as Pranagnihotra. There is a word called Pranagnihotra, means what? The Prana Shakti. To that we are giving offering. Even whatever you eat is really an offering which we give to Bhagavan. That is our understanding. That's how we look at even eating. So even in eating, we have the same vision is there, correct? It is coming and making your eating in a different manner to make you look at it in a different way. That is the amazing thing. Anyway, so what I am saying is fire is there. Then most of your body is water. And then whatever solid things are there, carbon, etc. So even your own body is all Panchabhutas only. And then the same Panchabhuta we worship as Shiva also. That's why we have a Panchabhuta Sthala is there. In India, if you go, in many places it is there. There is a Shiva as Akasha Linga, we say, Akasha. And the famous temple for that is Chidambaram. Chidambaram means Shiva is worshipped there as Akasha. There is even a Chidambara Rahasya there, where they will put a garland and there won't be any Vigraha, any deity. It will still simply be hanging in space. What does it mean? That garland is for Shiva in the form of space itself. That is the Chidambara Rahasyam. Okay. So Akasha, Shiva is worshipped as Akasha. Then Vayu is Kalahasti. It's there in Andhra only, but near Chennai if you go north. Kalahasti, there Vayu, the Vayu Linga. Then how do they represent Shiva there? Within the Garbhagraha, the sanctum, they will have one lamp. Okay. And that lamp will be flickering all the time, as though there is a big wind. But that Garbhagraha really doesn't have any wind like that, but still that flickering lamp represents Shiva as Vayu for us. So that Kalahasti is the Sthala for Vayu. Then Agni is Tiruvannamalai, we say. That's why we have that Deepam is so famous, correct? In Tiruvannamalai, that hill itself is looked upon as Shiva, and on the hill, every Kartigai, we say Kartigai Deepam is there. The Deepam is the greatest festival there, where they light up a huge fire on one particular day, Kritika Nakshatram, in that Kritika month also. Then we have water is Jambukeshwara and Prithvi is Kanchipuram. Ekamreshwara. Like this, Shiva is looked upon as all these Panchabhutas, means again what does it convey? It conveys that all that is here is only Bhagavan, correct? Or we look upon Bhagavan as both father and mother. How do we look at it like this? Means Bhagavan as mother means it is material cause. Why? Because even our own body is my mother's body only, correct? Every one of our body has come from our mother. This body is given by my mother. But father also is a nimitta, correct? So if you look upon father, means father is the intelligent cause. Mother means it is material cause. We have no problem with that. Or both of them are only one. That is why we have Ardhanari also. Ardhanarishwara is a form. Why we have? Because you cannot separate it out. The maker and the material are not two different things for us. It is all only one reality. Everything is only one reality. Whether it is you call it mother, father, you have the freedom to look at it in whichever way you want. And we have the freedom to worship Bhagavan in any form we want, with any name also. In fact, the word Om is a very important word for us, correct? We start everything with Om. What is this Om? Om. Veda itself says Om iti Brahma. Om iti tagum sarvam. Om is Brahman. Om is all that is here. So Om is a word symbol for Bhagavan, according to us. So Om can be looked upon as a word also, Sanskrit word in language. If you look at it as a word, it comes from the root Ava, Avarakshane, Avati. Means the protector. Om can mean the one who protects everything. Like that, there can be a meaning if you look at it as a linguistic word. But Om we do not look upon even as a linguistic word. It is called Pratika in Sanskritam. Pratika means it is only a sound symbol. Means it transcends languages. And why do we say it is a sound symbol for Bhagavan? That is because Om represents all sounds, we say. Om represents all sounds. By all sounds, it also in turn represents all words, all languages, everything. In the sound world, Om is a representation of all sounds. How can you say that? Means, Om, if you separate it out, phonetically, it is A, U, and That's what we say, correct? Of course, nowadays some people chant it as Aum and all that, which is not correct. Okay, let me make that clear first. Or they spell it as AUM and all that. It's not necessary. Om is Om. When we chant or when we say, you have to say it as only Om. It is not Aum. But when we understand it, phonetically it is A, U and Okay? Put together only becomes Om. Because A and U, when they join, the Sandhi is that it becomes O. So there is no problem there. Now, how can you say A, U and represents all sounds, all words, all languages? Means you open your mouth, correct? You can try it now. What is the sound you can make without any other effort? Open your mouth and make a sound. That is the only sound you can make, correct? Without making any other effort, if you open your mouth and make a sound, it is close your mouth and make a sound. You cannot make any other sound, correct? You can make maybe you can change the frequency a little bit, but it is the only. Now from this, what do we understand? All sounds are in between A and only, correct? Every other sound is in between A and because all other sounds you make some other effort, correct? Either on from your throat or from the top of your mouth or near your teeth, like that. In Sanskritam, in fact, we have names and all for that. Kantya, Oshtya and all that. Talavya, like that. So sounds coming from different places in your mouth, they have a certain name. They have Kakha, gagha means it's all kantya, because all these sounds are coming from your kantha or the throat. Anyway, so the idea is that all sounds are between a and So in between you have u, which represents all other sounds in between a and Now you put together, that is om. So what we say is om now represents all sounds. It is a sound symbol. Since om represents all sounds, like that Bhagavan also is everything, correct? So it becomes an apt symbol for referring to Bhagavan. Om becomes a sound symbol for referring to Bhagavan. It need not even be a linguistic word. You understand? It is not even a word belonging to one language or anything. It is basically a sound symbol which actually indicates Bhagavan. That is our understanding. So this Om is Bhagavan's name also. One of the most important or appropriate names indicating Bhagavan is Om for us. But since Bhagavan is everything, all names are Bhagavan's names only for us. So we have no problem with that. All forms of worship we can take it as valid. Only we can do that, because our vision is that all that is manifest here is Bhagavan, correct? So all forms of worship we can validate. Others cannot do that, because they say that no, only my Bhagavan, my God is only true God and all that. It looks silly to us. Our vision is so different. They can have their own vision and whatever they want. I don't want to say anything about it. But we have to understand our vision correctly. Then we can be secure in whatever we are doing. Correct? We don't have to be worried about our. We can answer even if somebody asks something. We can always say, we can explain what we are doing. But all our forms have meaning. That is one thing. Of course, I cannot go here and talk about each and everything. But this vision is the vision which is making all our forms meaningful. That much you should have an understanding. And now if you go and read, you can see that everywhere it will be there. Whether we are able to worship goddess means, I told already, goddess means mother. Or even, see, even for us, even relating to Bhagavan need not be even only in one way, correct? You can relate to Bhagavan as father, as mother, or even as friend, correct? It's all allowed. We have, as a devotee, I have a role to play. In fact, as a human being, my entire life is role playing only, correct? I am either a son, daughter, husband, wife, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, up to that. And then I am a friend, I am a employer, employee, I am a citizen. So all these roles we are playing. But there is also a devotee role is there. Because I am first of all devoted to Bhagavan, because who is the creator of everything? If Bhagavan is the creator of everything, Bhagavan is also creator of my body, mind, sense complex. That means my relationship with Bhagavan alone is the first one, correct? I told that when I am born here, everything is given to me. Then what is my relationship with that giver? You have to recognize the giver in the given. If you recognize all that is here is given, then we have to recognize the giver. And what is my relationship with that giver? That is means I am a devotee, correct? That devotee is the most basic role we have. And the devotee is playing all other roles. Your life will be simpler, correct? Easier. If you don't recognize your role as a devotee, then you think that you are the one who is doing everything. Then you are setting yourself up for failure again, correct? You think that you are doing everything means there is a problem in that. Then you become the author of your own actions. You think you are responsible for your own failure and success. That thinking is a problem again. Why? Because as I told you, all of us are limited in terms of our knowledge, our abilities, etc. And in spite of your effort, what is our experience? Our experience is that whatever I want from that expectation, if you see, I am doing something, expecting something, correct? All action is defined by some expected result. Either I get whatever I expected, fine. Then you think that, okay, my effort, I have gained whatever I wanted. But sometimes even after all the effort, you did not get whatever you want. You got less. Then you are depressed because you think that you are responsible. Maybe I should have done something different, etc. Or sometimes it is totally opposite also. Then you don't know what to blame or who to blame or whatever. Or sometimes you got more than what you expected. Even then you don't know how it came, but you are still happy. Or maybe you are claiming credit for that also. No, okay, I got more than what was expected. But this is our experience, correct? Our experience is that we have, of course, we have to put in effort, but the results can be fourfold. So now how do we account for that? And how do we take the results of these actions? Based on that only, everything is there. In fact, our whole Shastra is about preparing you to take the results of action with some equanimity, certain sense of sanity. Okay? Because all problems are there because people want something, they put in effort also. But if they don't get it, what happens? Then you become depressed. You are not able to accept it. You end up in sorrow, sadness, etc., pain. That is because you think you are responsible for that, correct? You are the author of the results of your action also. You think like that. And from that thinking follows your own failure. Because you cannot be always successful. That is a given. And whenever you fail, then you have to blame yourself for that failure because you think that you are the author of the results of your action. That is causing all problems. But what does our Shastra say? What does Bhagavad-Gita say? Bhagavan says, you are only the author of your action. Okay. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. He says that you are the author of the action because you have freedom to do. That is there. I can do, I need not do, I can do differently. All these things are given to me. Okay. I can do something, kartum shakyate, we say. Or I need not do, akartum shakyate. Or I can do something else, something different. Anyatha va kartum shakyate. All these things are possible. But results, I cannot guarantee, correct? Because too many factors are there. In spite of my effort, I always see that results can be fourfold or any one can happen, I don't know. So Bhagavan says, I am the one who is giving the results to you. I am the karma phala data. So the recognition of Bhagavan as the karma phala data is a very important thing in our dharma. Understand that. We have the freedom to do. That is there. So with reference to action, I am the author. But with reference to the results, I have to leave it to Bhagavan only. That is the factual thing also. Understand it. It is the factual thing because it is dictated by my own experience, in fact. So Bhagavan is the giver. Now, if Bhagavan has to give you the result, then what is the basis for that, you will ask, correct? Otherwise, why should he give me less sometime, more sometime, opposite and all that? He is a cruel guy then. If he is not giving me, then he becomes cruel. If he gives more than I deserve, then he is a sugar daddy, whatever. Okay, so what do I do? So that is why one more important thing is there which we have to understand. What is that? Is that what is that is? It is called adrishtam. Okay. This adrishtam also is very, very important in our dharma for our understanding. With that only, the whole thing makes sense. See, according to our understanding, every action has two results. Understand that.
Do you want it like that?
So, one result is whatever you experience, you go and write an exam
Very
with
pretty.
your marks, correct?
Very nice. You can
So, that is
add more to
one
that.
result.
Why?
What about the adrishtam? Whatever you experience is called drishtam, or whatever you are immediately seeing or experiencing. That is drishtapalam. Adrishtam means that which you do not or you are not able to see, but it is there. And that is what we call papam and punyam. So adrishta itself is looked upon in two ways. One is called papa, another is called punya. Now what is this papa and punya? This is where again I already told you, correct? There are our likes and dislikes, right and wrong, correct? Now, if you do the right thing, then we say not only you experience the drishtapalam, you also accumulate adrishtam, which is punyam. If you do the right thing, you accumulate in your account what is known as punyam. If you do the wrong thing, drishtapalam also is a problem. Why? If you do something wrong, you know it is wrong, but due to your own likes and dislikes, you did something wrong, let us say. Then drishtapalam also is fear is there. What if somebody finds out that I did this wrong? Fear. Guilt also is there because you know you did something wrong. You cannot avoid it. Guilt, fear and all you are gaining as drishtapalam. But it does not end there. Our Shastra is saying you are also gaining papam. Adrishtapalam also will be there. So if you do something right, adrishtapalam, punyam, you are gaining. If you do something wrong, you may escape from the local police and all that, but still papa you cannot escape. You will accumulate papa. That is the law. Okay, now you don't ask me where is the proof for all these things. Okay, you cannot see with microscope whether any papa or punya is there here. It is what our Veda is saying, and this is something which goes along with our experience. Okay, because all of us know that in spite of our efforts, the results are coming differently. Now, how to account for that difference? Bhagavan gives you the result based on your, not only your effort, but based on this papa and punya also. Is that clear? That's how Bhagavan also is then, that's how we can say Bhagavan is merciful and all that. Otherwise, Bhagavan will become a tyrant, correct? So again, it falls down to you only. According to us, whatever, if you experience some difficulty, then you have to take it as your own papa. If you are experiencing some good times, good fortune and all that, that also is due to your punya only. So this punya papa is very important for us. That's a very important part of our understanding, because the dharma, when we say, dharma is right and wrong, but that right behavior also makes you accumulate punyam. Similarly, wrong means adharma we say, but adharma will make you accumulate papa. This punya will fructify as pleasant experience. Papa will fructify as unpleasant or difficult experiences. This is our understanding. That means whatever is happening in your life, you have to take responsibility for that yourself. You cannot blame anybody else. This is very important for us. Yeah.
If everything is created and there is the maintenance and there is the dissolution, so why should we even care about it? Is it because we are worried about health, or we are worried about living a life which is not bad, or you are sad? You can just do whatever you want according to your desire, because ultimately everything is going to be dissolved and recreated.
That's what, see, you do everything according to your desire means, if whatever your desire is right, then no problem. You do everything according to your desire. The only problem is there are others also with desires. You will invariably clash with others' desire, correct? If you just to go only by your desire, then what about others also doing according to their desire? And it's not going to be harmonious, correct? There will be clash. Then there will be only chaos. It will become worse than whatever world we have. See, that is why I am saying there is a shared value will come automatically, because everybody has desires, everybody has certain expectation, means everybody also has to take into account their own expectations and others' expectations. Then only, because everybody is living in the same world. It's not that it's only your world, correct? You are having one world, means you cannot just go by your desire. We should have a shared matrix of values. And once these values comes, right and wrong comes. And right and wrong comes means again Papa Punya and all, we are talking about that right now, correct? All these things will come. Yeah.
But if everything is going to be dissolved,
let it be, no? Till then,
we want to maintain.
see, everything is going to be resolved means, see the time. Our Puranas talk about time very intelligently. Even time dilation and all they talk about. Whatever is the time for human being, it is not the same time for Pitras or Devatas and Brahma and all that. Our 1 month, one lunar month is 1 day for our Pitra, our ancestors, we say, Pitriloka, whoever is there in that. That is because their night time is the Krishna Paksha, or the waning phase of the moon. The waning fortnight is their night. And the waxing fortnight is their day. So our 1 lunar month is their 1 day. For Devas, our Dakshinayana is their night. Our Uttarayana is their day. That means the sun's movement from south to north is Uttarayanam. That is 6 months, correct? That is their daytime, we say. Then sun's movement from north to south is Dakshinayanam. That is their night time. So our 1 year is their 1 day. Then for Brahmaji, 1,000 Chaturyugas is 1 day. And another 1,000 Chaturyuga is 1 night. So 24 hours of Brahmaji is 2,000 Chaturyugas. And 1 Chaturyuga is 4.32 million years. Okay, Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Dwapara Yuga is 2 times that. Treta Yuga is 3 times that. Then Krita Yuga or Satya Yuga is 4 times that. So total it is like 4.32 million years into 1,000. Means 24 hours of Brahmaji is 4.32 billion years. Like that Brahmaji lives for 100 years. Means 8.64 into 365 into 1,000. You can count how many years it is. Okay, so your resolution is like so many years away. So you cannot take that as a factor. Is that clear? Because that time is like, you can't even imagine how many zeros are there in that. It's all very huge. From a human standpoint, it is still very, very huge. So better take into account whatever is right, wrong, whatever is the niyati, right? Whatever is the order, we can only go along with the order. As long as you are going along with the order, your life is in harmony, you will be happy. But if you start going against the order, nothing will happen to the order. Understand that. My Guruji used to say, the order is like an old tamarind tree. Okay. You go and rub your back against the tamarind tree. Nothing will happen to the tamarind tree. Okay. Tamarind tree will be there as it is. But your back, you see now what will happen to that. You cannot even wear a shirt afterwards, correct? It will become so scratched. Like that, the order is there. You go along with the order, everything is fine. You go against the order, then there is a consequence for that, correct? That is also part of the order, in fact. You have to face the consequences. That is what we say, Papa. So the Papa Punya is very important for us to understand. In fact, our belief is that the Papa Punya doesn't get exhausted only in this life. So the implication is that again it continues. That means the Papa Punya becomes the cause for another birth, another body. And what kind of birth that will be, what kind of body you take, etc. We don't know, but it's dictated. Even the current life we have is because of some Papa Punya, correct? That is our understanding then. So through karma, then this Punarjanma and all also is implied. Karma means Papa Punya. Again, Papa Punya means all Papa Punya cannot be exhausted now. For that, then you have to take another birth and all that. So that is our understanding. And that is why we say you cannot take anything away from this earth when you go, correct? Whatever you accumulate, you have to leave everything here. But what is the only thing which comes along with you always? Only your Papa Punya will come along with you. Is that clear? So that's why you have to be careful about what we do here. Even we have to accumulate Punyam only, correct? That is why it is called Punya Ayatanam. This whole body itself is there only for that purpose. That is our understanding.
Come to right and wrong. Is there a definition in our scriptures, Indian scripture? Because as a small example, if I tell a lie, it is not right, it's wrong. If I tell a lie to save a person.
Correct. That's why we say Vishesha Dharma. Correct. Samanya Dharma is that I should not lie. Now let us say you are a doctor. You don't want to go and tell the patient that you will only live 2 months or something, right? They may not tell that to the patient directly. Maybe they'll tell it to their caretakers or relatives or something. Because it may affect that person's life also. But nobody can even say exactly like that. But even based on their knowledge, they say that it is terminal and all that. Normally they don't tell. Or a surgeon cannot say, I won't do surgery because I am ahimsa. I cannot cut anybody means. That doesn't make sense, correct? That much allowance is, that's why we say dharma is not absolute, correct? It's not, samanya dharma is there, common or universal values are there, but they have to also be looked upon based on your role. You are a soldier, let us say. You have taken the role of a soldier. You cannot go to the border and say, ahimsa paramo dharmaha. I will not shoot the terrorist or whoever is fighting against me. That's not your dharma, correct? There, your role as a soldier means you have to take the weapon, correct? You have to handle the weapon. And if somebody is doing some wrong, you have been given the right to actually use force, violence, etc. to stop. In fact, in the longer or in the larger view, you are actually stopping somebody from doing adharma, correct? And affecting so many people. So all that is a given. That is what is called Vishesha Dharma. So there is Samanya Dharma, there is Vishesha Dharma. Vishesha Dharma is always with reference to your role, the place and time also we have to take. Is that clear?
Who guides me on these?
That is a very important question, correct? Very controversial we can say, but the important thing is, how do I know my Vishesha Dharma? Now, this is where Varnashrama comes into the picture. Very important again. Okay. So, Ashrama is no controversy. Ashrama means everybody is a student initially, correct? As a student, your only important duty is to learn. Everything else is secondary. So, till the time you are a student, you have to learn. That is your primary duty. Everything else is not very important. Then you become a householder. Then your duties are different, correct? Because you have so many, you have a lot of duty. You have to earn money. You have to create wealth. You have to take care of your family, etc. You have a lot more responsibilities. Then Vanaprastha and all we say, correct? You retire. Means again you want to reduce your responsibilities once you retire. Then sannyas also you can take if you want. That is there in our tradition. That means a sannyasi means one who renounces all other roles. Understand it? You are no more a father, son, or even a citizen. Sannyasi even renounced in our country. Sannyasis are not considered as, nowadays sannyasis even have passport and visa and all that. But really speaking, it is again sannyasa dharma, because sannyasa means you don't even have the role of a citizen. In those days, they used to travel between kingdoms and all easily because they were considered like that. But you have only two roles as a sannyasi. Either you are a student or you are a teacher. You can be a guru or a shishya. No other roles. Means you have voluntarily simplified your life by giving up all the roles and the responsibilities attached with those roles, and you take up a very simple life because you want to pursue something else which is more important. So like this ashrama dharma is very clear. Depending on your ashrama, what role you have to play, which roles are important in your life, that is there. Then varna dharma also is there. Because varna means again what are your natural tendencies. So there again we say Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra and all that. Okay. So if you are intellectually inclined, and those who are there in academics and all, we can say, correct? Those who want to preserve knowledge and teach, they are all Brahmanas only. Of course, this Varnashrama had a birth component also. We cannot deny that totally. Even today, in any profession you take, the children inheriting the father's profession is very high, correct? So we cannot wish that away. It is there. Because in one way, choosing your roles based on your birth is easy, correct? To determine that. It's easier. Once you have determined why it is also important, I'll tell you. Because if you keep on changing your duties, then you cannot define what is your real duty, correct? That means you are still going by your likes and dislikes only. I like now to have these as duties. Okay, fine. Tomorrow, no, I don't like this. I like something else as my duty. If you say it is basically you are keeping on changing things, means it is still you are only going by your likes and dislikes. You cannot keep on changing your duties like that. So given a situation and your role, your duties are all fixed almost. And only if you go by what is to be done or what is your duty, you are growing also as a person emotionally, correct? Because I told you, otherwise, basically we want to get freed from our likes and dislikes. And for that, doing your duty only is the medicine. And duties also you have to have certain clarity. Based on my role and my tendencies, this is my duty. Yeah.
That about the Garhastha Dharma. I read once the word Grihi Sannyasi. What exactly is that?
No, Grihi Sannyasi means, sannyasa also 4 types are there and all they say. Kutichaka, Bahudaka, Hamsa, Paramahamsa and all they say. I think maybe they are talking about the Kutichaka. Kutichaka means those who have done a lot of duties, they cannot just withdraw very easily. So they still live in a house, but not in the same place in the village or something. They give maybe like a retirement home. They separately still live, but they live in a house and still they do certain day-to-day karma and all that.
I did not see the meaning.
Or they may say that you have a certain detachment, even though you are a householder, attitude-wise you have a certain detachment. That is what we say karma yoga or tyaga, karma phala tyaga and all that. That also you can say.
Sorry, I was thinking like that, the training in the family, but with a lot of detachment.
Correct.
Is that the thing?
That is also a desirable thing. See, even in the Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavan does not say that. In fact, he actively discourages Arjuna from taking sannyasa. Arjuna always wants to take sannyasa because he thinks it's a shortcut. He can avoid the war, he can avoid killing others and all that. Even though he was not really ready to be a sannyasi also, but he in his mind, Arjuna's thought process is that by becoming a sannyasi now, he can somehow legitimately avoid doing his duty in the battlefield, okay, and not killing all the people with whom he has a certain attachment, or not even fighting with them, because in his mind he thinks that whether he loses or he wins, anyway it's a zero-sum game or whatever. Right? He thinks that it is a lose-lose for him, whichever way it is. So he doesn't want to do, and he says, I will take sannyasa. But Bhagavan keeps saying, no, you have to do your duty. But do phalatyagam, he says. But don't do the whatever you are doing only for the limited results, but do it as an offering to me, like that. So the karma, that is why even all our karma when we do, we say Ishvara Prityartham and all that we say, correct? Mamapata Samasta Duritakshayadara, Shri Parameshwara Prityartham and all we say, or Sriman Narayana Prityartham. So why do we say we are doing something for pleasing Bhagavan? Bhagavan does not really require us to please him or anything. The idea there is that you are not doing something only for that limited results and all that. You are doing it because it is your duty. It is to be done. Okay. But it is the result of that itself is not going to affect you really. That you have done Arpanam to Bhagavan. See, the important thing in our tradition is we have this concept called Prasada. Right? Prasad is that. The concept of Prasad is very important, a very, very unique thing in our culture. Why? Because Prasad is not any one object, correct? Prasad can be anything. Even children are called Prasad, correct? You can even look upon your children also as a Prasada. They name Venkatesh Prasad, like that. There are many Prasads are there, okay? Similarly, you go to a temple. There also you don't get upset if the pujari is giving you tirtham, let us say, as prasada. You don't say, no, I only want laddu. You don't say that, correct? Even if you get the tirtham, you take it with a certain attitude because it is coming from the altar of Bhagavan. Whatever prasada you get, you are able to accept it with a certain equanimity, correct? Whether it is tirtham, whether it is vibhuti, whether it is laddu, your likes and dislikes do not matter there very much, because you take it with a certain sanctity and all that. You look upon it as something which is coming from the altar of Bhagavan. Now that is Prasad. Prasad is more about your attitude than a particular object, right? It's not any one object, but the way you accept that object only makes it into a Prasad, because it is coming from the altar of Bhagavan. Now look upon all the actions. Who is the giver of results? We said Bhagavan is the karma pala data, correct? He is the one who is the giver of the results of all your karma, all your action. Then all the results in your life are also coming from Bhagavan only that way, correct? Then it is all prasada only. Everything is prasada. Whatever you get in life, whether it is success, failure, whether it is in keeping with your expectation or not, etc., everything is only coming from Bhagavan for us. Now, if you can extend that prasada buddhi, that is what is called prasada buddhi. Something is made into a prasada because you have prasada buddhi with reference to that, correct? You have a certain attitude that this is prasada. Can you have the same attitude with reference to all the things which are happening in your life? Then you are a Grihi Sannyasi. Is that clear? You are able to accept whatever comes to me, it's all coming from Bhagavan. You have a certain equanimity. In fact, such a person only is a yogi. Understand that. In Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavan says, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. The one who has Samatvam or equanimity, or one who is able to accept everything as prasada. Yogi means, don't think one who does all this yogasana alone is yogi. That is the American yogi maybe. Yogasana is only one part of the Yoga Shastra itself. It's only one anga, in fact. Even when we talk about Ashtanga Yoga and all that, asana is one part. But yoga is more about your attitudes and your disposition of your mind, etc. And the most important thing there is to able to face the life with certain equanimity. Otherwise, you are not a yogi really. So that yogi only is a sannyasi also, because yogi means you are still in the life. Correct? You are a householder, or you are in some other ashrama. You are not a sannyasi yet, but still you have done karma phala tyaga. That way you are a yogi.
Judgment to the result.
You are engaged in action. Sannyasi means sannyasi has formally given up all duties. Means sannyasi need not engage in those activities. Correct? So there is no question of any result also, because sannyasi is not even allowed to engage in certain activities. But grihastha ashrama, you are there, means you have to do activities because they are your duties. Correct? It's not even your likes and dislikes. But still you are doing the duties, but then karma phala tyaga you have to do. Then you are a tyagi, you are a yogi. Then only you are a yogi. And that is the life which Bhagavan prescribes even for Arjuna also. He says that. But finally he says, HTCC tatha kuru. I already told you, right? He gave all the teaching. That is the greatness of our tradition. Is what we give the teaching, we give the vision. Guru can only do so much. Then it is up to you, Shishya or whoever is listening to that, you grasp that, and then you have to lead your life according to, in the light of the teaching. Correct? That is up to you. You have to do that. If you don't do that, you are the loser, in fact. Nobody can do anything about it, but that is something which is there.
Does our Dharma tell us anything on ambition?
Yeah. See, that's what I told you already. Ambition is not a problem. Desire is not a problem. Because Bhagavan says, I am manifest as the power to desire. Correct? I told you, ambition and desire are all a privilege which human beings have. Only you can desire for so many things. But the important thing there is to fulfill that ambition. Are you going to do the right thing or the wrong thing? So, if you are for the purpose of your ambition, if you are ready to do adharma, then it is called lobha. Correct? We call about kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, like this. Shad ripu, we say. 6 enemies. In that, lobha means greed. What is greed? Just having ambition is not greed. Understand that. Anyway, if you are a billionaire already and you are desiring for something very big, that's not a problem, because any ambition also depends on your current resources and your capabilities, etc. So you can only have ambition according to your own capabilities and the resources you have. Nothing wrong in that also. But if you are ready to do adharma for that, then it becomes lobha. Then it becomes greed. Then it's a problem. Otherwise, if you are a king, means you will only, your ambition will be to annex another king, another kingdom or whatever. Correct? You do a Ashwamedha Yaga and all, we talk about that. There is nothing wrong in that. That is Raja Dharma, in fact. Again, each one's ambition depends on your own role and your own station in life, correct? Where you are, etc. But within that, whatever ambition you have, you should pursue that legitimately. Dharmic way, how much ever wealth you can gain, you should gain also. There is nothing wrong in that. For us, that's not at all. In fact, without wealth, what will you do? Even for doing dharma, you need wealth, correct? So we are not saying that you should not have any desire, you should not earn any money and all that. But earn how much ever possible through legitimate means. Dharmika means. Then spend it also for dharma, correct? Then only you can support dharma. So there is no problem in that. In fact, that is a blessing only. That is a privilege which has been given to us. We should be able to use it. And you should not feel bad about it.
Ask anybody in Zoom has got.
Yeah, anybody, any questions on Zoom? I don't know how many are attending or unmute. You have muted them.
They can unmute.
Yeah. Or Prasad, they can put in the chat.
I had a question.
Yeah,
I had
go
a
ahead.
question.
I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So, like when we talk about Papa and Punya, we also talk about rebirth and how it affects us. Can you tell us more, talk more about it?
Yeah, so I already told that if we accept Papam and Punyam, it is to be believed only. But our Shastra reveals that there is Papa Punyam. The implication of that is we have to also talk about another life, because in every life, depending on what we have done, whether right or wrong, we are accumulating some Papa. And all that Papa, we say, will not be exhausted in this life only. And even the current life itself has started with some Papa Punya. That is what we call as Prarabdha Karma. So when we talk about Karma, we say three different categories we talk about. One is called Sanchita Karma. Sanchita Karma means all the total accumulated Karma. That is countless. In fact, nobody knows how much it is. From that, whatever has resulted in this birth, correct? Because every birth, in every day, we have to experience some pleasure and some pain, correct? That is there for all of us. Even one mosquito biting you is some kind of a pain, some kind of an unpleasant experience. Means some Papa is gone. So on a daily basis, some Papa, some Punya is exhausted. So that is the Prarabdha Karma, we say. Because this life has started with some Karma and that is exhausting through your life. But while that is happening, you are also doing things with your own effort. That is called Purushartha. While doing, again, you go with your own likes and dislikes. That means you are going to do both right and wrong things. And because of that, you are gaining more Papa Punya. That will fructify later. Correct? That later can be in this life or in another life. That is called Agami Karma. So we have Sanchita Karma, Prarabdha Karma, which has already started fructifying. Agami Karma means that which will fructify later. Agami means in future, whatever. So that is our understanding. So as I said, all the karma which you are accumulating now, and even there is countless accumulated karma also in your account already. Based on all these things, only your future life will be there. But even there, some pointers and all, Bhagavan, even in the Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavan says that whatever smaranam you have at the time of death, correct? That decides your next birth and all that. So, yam vapi smaran bhavam kyajatyante kalevaram tamtame veti kaunteya sadat bhava bhavitaha. Like that, there is a verse there. And he even says, whoever is thinking of me at the time of death also, he will reach me only. Like that, in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, some verses are there like that. So the idea being that at the time of death also, whatever you are thinking, that has a bearing on what kind of next birth one is going to have and all that. Then you can say, okay, I will lead my life as I want, but at the end I will think about something and all that. That is not possible. The idea is that whatever is, because at the time of death also all your organs are all failing. In fact, even in the Upanishad also all these things are discussed. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also, it even says this. At the time, in fact, your willpower or your conscious effort is not there. Understand that. That means whatever you have been, whatever is the strongest impression throughout your life, that will only come automatically. It is not that at that time you can change something. Is that clear? So some people think that if you say that at the time of death, whatever you think will decide your next birth, means at that time I will think something different. That is not possible. That's why one of the things it is said is that throughout your life, you should have good samskara. That means the impressions which we collect, should be proper, so that even hereafter also, whatever you will have will be a good life, etc. Another thing also in the 6th chapter, those who have come to this Vedanta, those who have started Vedantic study and all that, so there actually Arjuna is asking a question. He says, what will happen to such people? Yoga Brashtaha, he uses a word. Yoga Brashtaha means one who has become a Karma Yogi, one who is a Mumukshu or a Jignasu, one who wants to know Bhagavan, and one who has started that pursuit, but he is not able to complete it for whatever reason. What if that person dies, what will happen? He asks a question like that. Then Bhagavan says, Nahi Kalyanakrit Kaschiti Durgatim Tata Gacchati. Yes. One who has already started this auspicious thing, okay, for him there is no Durgati, there is no bad state, like you can say that. Durgati means you all understand, I think. For that person there is no Durgati. In fact, he will be born in a nice loka and enjoy and all that, he says. Otherwise, he will be born in the family of a yogi, like that he says. The next birth will be Yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam. Like that Bhagavan says. So you will be again born. You are already a yogi, but you did not get moksha or whatever. You did not complete that pursuit. Means again you will be born in the family of a yogi and you will continue that. Tatratam buddhi sanyogam labate aurvadehikam also, Bhagavan says. He says you will then again gain connection with the whatever buddhi you already had in the previous birth. So that is why all these prodigies and all we are seeing, correct? You cannot explain some people's skill because they never gained it in this life, or they didn't have even the time to gain, but they have, correct? Child prodigies are there everywhere, we see that. So all that is, we have to say they have gained something from the Purva Janma, only some connection has happened. That impressions have come forward in this life and all that. So in this way, it is all talked about, but the important thing for us to understand here is, throughout your life, you should have good impressions, good habits, and good samskaras, like we say, correct? That samskara alone will carry forward, and it will take you to a better life also, if there is another life. Yeah.
So one more question. Some people wait for auspicious time and all that. So is there anything in the Shastra?
It is there. See, we have when we talk about the Vedika, what we call as Ashtadasha Vidya Sthana, like that we say, traditional knowledge disciplines, 18 disciplines are there. Out of that, 4 Vedas are there to start with, okay? Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. Then we say 6 Veda Angas are also there. When you study any Veda, the Vedic chanting they memorize. Okay, that is called Veda Adhyanam, but that alone is not enough, correct? To understand what is there in the Veda, you also have to have other disciplines you have to study. Then only you can completely have the knowledge about whatever is there in the Veda. Now, what are those allied or auxiliary disciplines? Means Shiksha, Kalpam, Niruktam, Chandas, Vyakaranam, Jyotisham. These 6 are called Veda Anga. So traditional study means 6 months you have to memorize the Veda, 6 months you have to study all these things. That is what that Upakarma one will come in between. Every year when they do the Upakarma, you are supposed to shift and start studying the other Shastras. Again, for 6 months you have to memorize, 6 months you study the other ancillary subjects so that you can understand the meaning of the Veda and all that. In that, Jyotisham is very important. Shiksha means pronunciation and all that. Okay, Shiksha Shastram. Kalpam means how to do the Vedic ritual. Kalpa Sutras are all there. There only how to use the Veda mantras in actually doing a ritual, etc. is called Kalpa Shastra. Then Chandas is all Prasadi, correct? All the different Chandas meters, etc. Then Niruktam is the Vedic thesaurus, or you can say it is the dictionary kind of a thing. To understand the meaning of the Vedic words, there is something called Niruktam. That is the oldest dictionary in the world, you can say. And then Vyakarana is grammar. Without grammar, again, you can't understand anything. And finally, Jyotisham. So time also is very important, because any Vaidika ritual you want to do, the time also is an important factor in that, when you should do that. So how to calculate the Muhurtam, or even the units of time and all that is defined. I already told you, correct? The way they have defined the units of time itself is very, very beautiful. So we have that the 24 hours itself, how they have defined or how they have divided further, all that is there. And units of time, they have gone very, that nimisham, what is a nimisha and all, there are definitions are there. Okay. But generally we have 24 minute is called one nadigai. In Tamil we call nadigai. I think in Sanskritam it is called one ghatika or something. I think. So 24 minutes is important for us. So 224 minutes is called one muhurta. 48 minutes is one muhurta. So like this 24 minutes is there in one day, correct? That's how they have divided. Everything is a cycle of 60 for us. Even years, 60 years make up one cycle of years, correct? We have 60 named years. In fact, after 60 years, your horoscope will repeat. That is why the 60th birthday is very important for us. The Shashtiyabda Purti and all people do. Why? Because you are born, correct? At that time, you have a horoscope based on the time of your birth. That same horoscope will repeat after 60 years, because according to our cycle, Saturn is the slowest moving, correct? Saturn takes 30 years. Then Saturn would have completed 30 years. In that time, all other grahas also they would have completed, and they'll come to the same formation after 60 years, including the name of the year also will be the same for you. But what I am trying to say is, time is very, very important, and how to calculate the time for doing some of these rituals is important. And also the time and the model, the Jyotisha model, correct? That also is very important. Here, what we have to understand is Jyotisha is not about predicting your future. That is the mistake many people make. Nobody can predict your future. Understand that. And even the astrologers don't do that. What they are predicting or what they are seeing there is your prarabdha. Because your prarabdha alone is fixed. If you have taken a birth, this birth is due to some papa punya, correct? That is what we call prarabdha karma. Now, the Jyotisha Shastra says there is a correlation between how the planets are, or we cannot even call it planet, because graha is really a heavenly body, correct? Because a graha can be either even sun, moon, or all grahas, and Rahu Ketu also is there, which is not really it is only a shadow and all that, correct? So they are some heavenly bodies. Their movement is giving you a certain model, correct? That model has a certain correlation with reference to your own prarabdha. So based on that, they are predicting whether this time is good for you right now, or whether you will have pleasant experiences, unpleasant experiences, etc. That they are able to do very well. But they will also give you prayaschitta. That is why all astrologers, our astrology or Jyotisha, there are many things are there, correct? One is to fix the right time for all these different rituals, because timing is very important for all the Vedika rituals. You cannot ask why there. Okay, that is how it is. Certain things we have to go by whatever they are saying. So they are saying you have to do it in this time, during this grahanam you have to do this, means you have to do that, correct? You should be able to calculate, because our people had, even though they had only naked eyes, they didn't have any telescope, they were very good with calculating all these eclipses and all that. Exactly when it will occur and all, they are able to do that, which itself is pretty good. So that calculating time is one. The other part is also based on the certain movement in the zodiac, they are able to correlate it with your own life. And again tell you certain things like prayaschitta karma basically is again based on Jyotisha. Because the Jyotish only is predicting your prarabdha, and if lot of papa is going to fructify, then I should have a way to neutralize that, correct? That is where prayaschitta karma is important. Because when we talk about Vaidika karma, we say Nitya Karma, Naimittika Karma, Kamya Karma, and Prayasita. Like that, we divide it into 4. Nitya means every day you have to do mandatorily. Most people are not doing it, okay, nowadays. Naimittika means it is based on some occasions. Like if a child is born, you are supposed to do something called Jata Karma. Or if there is an eclipse, means you are supposed to do certain whatever Pitru related. Suppose you are doing Pitru Karma, means you have to do some Tarpanam and all that, let us say, or some other things you can do. That is called Naimittika. Naimittika means periodic, not even periodic, but based on some events. Certain things you do event based. Nitya Karma means periodically you have to do, either every day or every 15 days or every 3 months. All that is called Nitya Karma. So periodic karma, event based karma, then for your own desire you can do. Okay, I want something. Means for that also a lot of karma is there. But other than this, Prayaschitta also is an important part of that. Means if I am expecting some papa to fructify based on my own horoscope and all that, correct, Jataka, then I should have a way to neutralize that. For that also they will tell you, you do this particular something, then it will neutralize, it will help you come out of a difficult situation, etc. So for all these things, it is important. The Jyotisha aspect is very important. Because based on Jyotisha only, Prayaschitta, or sometimes even if you do something and you are feeling guilty, you want to come out of it also, you can do Prayaschitta. That is also there. Prayaschitta can be based on Drishta. If you know something you have done wrong and you want to now really repent for that also, you can do. Or it can be based on some other papa which is going to fructify, so that you want to neutralize that also, you can do. For all these things, it is important. And it is a very important Veda Anga. That is why it is called Vedanga Jyotisham also. So it is part of our Vidya Sthana. Of course, I said 18, correct? 4 Vedas, 6 Angas. Then Upavedas are also there. That is where Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, and Arthashastra, these are all called Upavedas. There are 4 Upavedas are also there. Okay, and some people take Shilpa, Ayurveda is fine. That is Rigveda's Upaveda is called Ayurveda. Then Yajurveda, Dhanurveda is there. Then there's a Gandharva Veda and all they say, or Samaveda, because that is related to all this singing, dancing, etc. And then either Shilpa Shastra or Artha Shastra for Atharvana Veda. These are also very important traditional studies. Then 4 more also they add. Some people, they either call Chaturdasha or Ashtadasha. 4 more if they add all this Itihasa Purana, Nyaya Shastra, and some other things they add. So like this, traditionally there are 18 disciplines of knowledge.
Aranyaka.
No, Aranyaka and all is part of the Veda only. The Veda itself is divided as Samhita, Brahmana and Aranyaka. But the Ashtadasha Vidyasthana, if you say, after the Upaveda, then we have all this Purana, Itihasas are there. Then Dharma Shastra is there. Then Nyaya Shastra is there. And I think they add Mimamsa also, I think. So this make up the 18 traditional knowledge disciplines. Out of which Jyotisham is one important thing. Okay. Anything else, or we'll close here?
So I have one follow-up question. Prasad, long time ago, he was taking the kid. So he told a story. So somebody is asking Krishna, who's your greatest, devotee? Everybody expects, you'll say Arjuna because, he's with him all the time. But he says Bhima. Then when everybody is shocked and they're asking the explanation, so every time, Bhima does something, he starts with Krishna Arpanamastu. And so basically dedicates the action to Krishna and he's doing it. So the reason I asked the time question is, if we just devote all our actions to God, then does the time matter?
It does matter. Because the time also is part of Bhagavan's order only, correct? That you do certain things at certain time is also part of the order. So by looking at the time, we cannot say that you are, but of course, if you are not able, many times we are not aware of the right time and all that, then anyway you have to do everything with Krishna Arpanamastu only. That attitude has to be there. It's a given. Okay. But certain things have to be done at certain time also is a given. Correct? Both are important. It's not that they are mutually exclusive or you can leave one for the other. That's what I'm saying. You should take an effort to do things at the right time as much as possible. After that, anyway, you are doing with the attitude of Krishna Arpanamastu.
Let's thank the speaker.
So we'll say a prayer and then Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Kasyid Dukha Bhave Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mrityungamaya Om Purnamada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
So it's a very befitting talk to the title. So we gave the title as Exploring Hinduism. Whenever I think of exploration, we think of high seas, ships. He has taken us on a ship, and Hinduism is like the ocean. He went pretty much everywhere in the ocean, I would say. He took us to all the way from the origin, the creation, Brahman, to all the symbolic things of our temples, for all the roles, responsibilities, Dharma. He talked about, I mean, literally, he has covered all facets of Hinduism. Lucky are you all who are able to hear to him. And such a good question answer session also. And we're still not satisfied. I cannot imagine we didn't have a break. Nobody complained. And your energy is just tremendous. That your, energy you had at the beginning, even more you have at the end, which is amazing. So we hope that you please visit us again. And
Sure.
it's a very good fortune that we got to know you. And please, if you are around here, please visit us again and enlighten us more and more and more. So thank you, and on behalf of HTCC, we really appreciate you taking this time to come down and spend this valuable time with us. And we hope you are also happy with the experience, and looking forward for more talks. Thank you. There's a little snack at the back, some nuts and water. Please help yourself.